So we got an interesting Instagram post here from Spencer Fearon and an interesting video on Fight Hub TV with Marcus Villegas interviewing Eddie Hearn. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to Fight Hub TV, you need to drop whatever you're doing and do so immediately. Okay, it is one of the most underrated boxing interview channels on the internet. So, I really like the interview style of Marcus Villegas. Very professional, but relaxed at the same time, and just a very underrated interviewer. Anyway, in this post right here, Spencer Fearon says that Harold Knight is in Joshua's camp. Now, for those of you who don't know who Harold Knight is, he was one of Lennox Lewis's training team for virtually all, maybe it was all, of Lennox Lewis's career. His nickname was the Shadow, Harold Knight. So the two people you'd always see with Lennox Lewis were Harold the Shadow Knight and Courtney Shand, who was his S&C coach, as well as whatever trainer he had at the time. He turned pro with John Davenport, then he switched over to Pepe Correa, then he switched over to Manny Stewart and finished out his career with Stewart. But that whole time, you'd see Harold the Shadow Knight and Courtney Shand with him. So I find it interesting that Harold Knight is in the AJ camp, if what Spencer Fearon says is true, because we know there's been tension between AJ and Lennox Lewis. So for one of Lewis's closest boxing, I'm just going to call him friends, is in AJ's camp. I mean, what's going on there? Have they squashed the beef? Is Harold the Shadow Knight not that close to Lennox Lewis anymore that he feels like he needs to be on Lewis's side rather than AJ's? Or, and this is just a possibility, doesn't mean it's true, is Harold the Shadow Knight some kind of PBC spy? We know Lennox Lewis works for PBC. Has he sent Harold Shadow Knight out there on a mission? If PBC done that, I don't know. Now, the reason I say this is because in this interview here, Marcus Villegas says that he's heard from two people that AJ's been getting hurt in sparring again in the lead up to this Andy Ruiz rematch. Who are those two people? Bear in mind, this is not like the first fight where AJ was based in Miami in the United States. No. The training camp for this rematch is in the UK. I think they're based up in Sheffield, right? With Team GB. That's AJ's, virtually his gym. It doesn't literally belong to him, but it might as well. Okay? So for there to be information potentially coming out of that gym, who is collecting that information and relaying it back to certain members of the press? Is it one of the sparring partners? Is it Andrew Tabiti maybe? He's a PBC guy. Is it Harold the Shadow Knight? Who knows? I mean, look, when it comes to training camps, they're usually pretty leaky, especially if it's a well-known fighter. They're usually pretty leaky and information does get out. I just find this move, if it's, true, getting Harold Knight in, I find it curious, and particularly when you combine it with these rumors. Again, Marcus Villegas saying he's been told by two different people that AJ's been getting hurt and that he hasn't got over what happened in the Andy Ruiz first fight yet. So, yeah, interesting. Now, is there any truth to these rumors? I mean, some people might say these rumors could have been put out by Team AJ deliberately to give Andy Ruiz a full sense of security. That AJ's pretty much done and he's traumatized and all you got to do is go in there early and put it on him and he's going to crumble because he's getting dropped and hurt in sparring again. Some people could say that. But then again, maybe he is getting dropped and hurt in sparring again. Maybe he hasn't recovered psychologically from the first Andy Ruiz fight. It's a possibility. AJ has only had 23 fights. He's not like Wilder with 40 odd fights or, Fury with, 30 fights Fury's had. plus a much longer amateur career than AJ. No, he's inexperienced compared to most of the other top guys. He's even inexperienced compared to Andy Ruiz, who had more amateur fights and pro fights than AJ. Andy Ruiz been boxing since he was something like 5 years old or 8 years old. AJ didn't lace up a pair of gloves till he was about 18. Okay, so all of that experience is something you can call on when you're in a tough situation like AJ is in right now. So maybe he hasn't recovered. Maybe the sparring rumors are true. But if I cast my mind back to big fights in the past, I've heard people, get smashed up in sparring and then they get in the ring and they perform. When Evander Holyfield was preparing for Mike Tyson, there were rumors that he was getting smashed up in sparring. Not knocked out, but there were rumors that he was having a very tough time in sparring and wasn't looking good. And yet he came out and pulled off one of the biggest upsets of all time on November 9th, 1996, stopping Mike Tyson in the 11th round. So, sometimes you hear rumors about guys not doing well in sparring, but they turn up fight night. So we'll see whether AJ is going to turn up. And if Harold Shadow Knight really is part of the AJ training team now or advisory team, why isn't he conducting interviews? Can't any of the British press or the YouTube interview channels get hold of Harold Knight? Because he'd be a very interesting person to speak to. Now, if he isn't a mole or a spy or anything like that, and he is actually over there with genuine intentions of helping AJ, I'd obviously like to know what kind of friendship he still has with Lennox Lewis and why he decided to make this move. But also, he can bring a tremendous amount of experience and knowledge to the table, because he was with Lennox Lewis through all the ups and downs in his career. Yeah, he will, I'm certain, be able to add something to AJ's, not necessarily technical and physical arsenal, because I think there's too short a time to be able to do that effectively. But from a psychological point of view, he might be able to help him, So, interesting that Harold Knight is allegedly involved. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Harold Knight was a fighter himself, by the way, in case you don't know. Interesting stuff. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.